All right. Hold on. Just waiting. So how's your day going, by the way?
I'm horribly hungover.
All right. Nice.
We had a Christmas party for the gym last night, and it was like more than 100 people, and got home at 5 in the morning, and so I'm pretty tired.
That's a rough day.
Yeah, I'm ready to go to bed after this. So
All right. Well, then let's get this going.
yeah, let's do it.
All right. We'll start right now. All right. So, Christian, I don't want to butcher your last name. This is what I'm famous for. So, can you say your whole name?
You can't really say it in English. It's I don't know how you'd pronounce it, just like Graugart or something.
Oh, okay. Christian Graugart.
Yeah,
All right. So, thank you very much for joining us on BJJ Addict Radio.
thanks for having me.
Uh, you know, I personally found out about you a little while ago, actually. I stumbled across this amazing thing called the BJJ Globetrotter.
hmm
And I said, man, this is something I would love to do in life. Let the people know what was it that you embarked on?
Well, it was in Denmark. It there hasn't been jiu-jitsu for a long time. So when we started training, we didn't really have anyone to train with. So traveling to train has been a part of my development in jiu-jitsu since day one. And yeah, last year, actually, year before that, I was trying to plan where to go on my next jiu-jitsu trip, and I had a few options, places I hadn't been before, and I couldn't decide where to go, so I just basically looked at the map and realized I should just go all the way around the globe. So the project kind of got a little crazy along the way, and I ended up traveling for 5 months and going to 56 gyms in 140 days. So it's pretty high pace all the way around the world.
That is unbelievable. Was it as easy as you made it look? Because everything just seemed to kind of fall in place. You had seminars set up, you did tournaments, people sheltered you. Was there tough times along the way?
No, it was the easiest thing in the world. The most difficult was it basically was like a competition. The difficult part is up until the minute you clap hands and the fight starts, right? Then it's just easy. And before that, it's all in your head. And I worried so much about like how would I plan. I planned like almost the whole trip on the road, basically on the fly, just from one place to the next. I just basically planned it on the road, and I was really worried about it at home. But as soon as I sat on the first plane from there till I got home again, it was super easy. I mean, it was jiu-jitsu community took care of everything for me. I just basically leaned back and enjoyed the ride.
Unbelievable. And without getting into too many of these things, there is a way people can find out more about this trip in a book you wrote. So let's talk about that for a
Yeah.
second. Let us know what it's called, first of all.
The book is called The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Globetrotter, and it's basically it's like it's a novel basically. It's a story about the trip. Whereas there's also the blog, of course, bjjglobetrotter.com, which
Hmm.
is my daily blog post from the whole trip, which is more like photography and less text. But the book is basically the story about the whole project, like and all the stuff I didn't put in the blog because there was too much text. So.
Now, when you were decided to actually sit down and write this book,
Mm.
um, was it harder than you thought it would be?
Yes, it was ridiculously hard. The trip was super easy compared to writing the book actually. Well, before that, I mean, I've never written anything before, and other than my blog, and one guy emailed me and said, "Hey, you should try to write a book or sell the idea to some magazines or something." And I said, like, "Oh, you're crazy, dude. Me writing a book. I mean, I've never never written anything before." And but along the way, I kind of realized that there were too many good stories to tell to not write it down. And so I started to take notes on the trip, and yeah, and then I just along the way thought, well, I just really gotta put all this down to inspire someone else, and hopefully someone else will do something similar and have some good experiences. And the process of writing the book was crazy. I mean, it's countless of hours of writing and editing and proofreading, and even after all that, I've been through the book like 15, 20 times, and I'm so sick and tired of reading it. And then I get the first printed copy and I open it and I find like a spelling error and it annoys me. But it's like an endless process. But it was an interesting challenge to write a book. Actually, it took me like almost 2 years from the idea to the finished product. But it was really interesting, and of course it's a nice feeling to accomplish that, to actually have it out there. And now I'm just basically shitting myself because people are actually reading like what's only been inside of my head for the last 2 years. And there's a lot of personal stuff in the book as well. I just basically try to be as honest as possible with everything. And so it's kind of scary that everybody's reading that like right now, at least like several hundred people bought the book already. So
Let's say people are listening right now, of course. How do they get a copy of this amazing book?
easy, just go to my website, bjjglobetrotter.com. There's links to the paperback and the ebook and all that, and it's also on Amazon, and it should be quite easy to get their hands on it.
All right, perfect. And when I stumbled upon learning more about you, you were a brown belt at the time, and
Yeah,
from my understanding, you've been promoted since then
yeah,
to the magical belt of black belt.
yeah.
Uh, you,
Still waiting to be invincible.
yeah. So how did it feel receiving the black belt, and who gave you your black belt, by the way? Since Denmark, as you said, has been very hard to find teachers and stuff.
A lot of has happened in Denmark since I
Yes.
started. But I have a very open view on jiu-jitsu and teams and affiliation, and I basically just train with everyone, and have a lot of friends, and one of them is a good friend of mine called Hobson, who's a Brazilian guy who lives in Sweden, and yeah, I've been training with him quite a bit, and he thought it was time, so that was it.
Nice. And you have competed since then under black belt. Was it any different mentally, emotionally, or is it just another day in the office?
Well, I think I have a different view, at least a different mentality towards competition than most other people I know. And this is something like I've been writing a lot about in the book because it's it's I don't know, it's personal in a way, but I competition doesn't interest me at all. It's just my job basically to do it because I every time I compete, it's I see how good it is for everything in my life. I mean, it's good for my ego and for putting everything on the line and challenging myself, eat healthy, and inspire people I train with and people I teach. But mentally, I feel no difference if I win or lose, and I wish I did feel. I wish I was one of those guys who just scream when they win, or like cry when they lose. But so brown belt or black belt or white belt for that sake, I've never felt anything different, unfortunately. But it's interesting. It's just an interesting challenge for me to compete, and I like the personal development like aspect of it, but competition wise, I think, I mean, it didn't make any difference. It's exciting to compete against the best guys, but there's a lot of good guys in the brown belt division as well. I can tell you that. So
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I think nowadays the jump's not as drastic as it was, say, 5, 10 years ago, probably.
yeah, exactly.
Um, I had a question to ask you. You are a gym owner, correct?
Yes.
And a teacher. So you were held at brown, say, for a while. Once you got your black belt, is there an influx of the colored belts getting their dues now that you've been belted?
Excuse me. Can you ask me that question again?
I
I
was
didn't
saying
understand.
that since you got your black belt,
Yeah.
has other people finally started to get their belts because they couldn't get any higher, say, if you were at your own gym teaching and you were the brown belt, correct?
Yeah, yeah, no, not really. I mean, Hobson has been helping me out. if anybody needed promotion, but it's kind of rare anyway, so I don't really worry about that too much, But
That's nice. When you go around the world and you're teaching a seminar, what are some things that you try to instill in people, leave them with one thing?
um, I just like I try to focus on making jiu-jitsu enjoyable for number one. I mean, and also like I like to talk a little bit about the social aspect about training. I'm not so much about the right technique that will help them win or something. It's more about jiu-jitsu as an engine towards living the life you really want. And in that way, I like to inspire people to just enjoy training and have fun with it, and be open towards anyone who walks through the door, really. And there's enough people who see jiu-jitsu as a way to fight and test yourself in that way. But to me, it's just something that helps me live the life I want, and I like to pass on that message to people.
Nice. I agree with that for sure. I was going to actually ask another thing about training and stuff, but can you just let us know how it was? You said recently it's been much better, but how was it when you started jujitsu in Denmark? What was the atmosphere and the scene as far as the support for BJJ or grappling goes?
Well, it was non-existing. There was nothing basically, and it's also in the book the basically the whole story about how we started up from bottom in a country which had basically zero jiu-jitsu. And but briefly, I was training with a few guys, and we did like Jeet Kune Do, some pseudo MMA, kung fu, self-defense, street fighting stuff, and well, at one point, all the whole self-defense aspect and street fighting just got a little bit too goofy, and we kind of realized we're not going to fight anyone anyway. So why? I mean, you have a natural urge to test whatever you try to excel in, and we're not going to test street fighting because we don't want to fight anyone. So we just slowly tilted more towards the sports aspect, and we've heard about the UFC, and someone had heard about some Brazilians, something, but we had no clue basically. And until this one guy who came over and did a seminar. He was a brown belt at the time, and yeah, I was sold. I mean, from the first day, sorry, first day I ever grappled in 1999, I haven't stopped thinking about it ever since. So we got our hands on some VHS tapes we bought online from the US, and they were like they were like some secret treasure we got there, and we were just watching them every day and trying out all the moves. And I mean, it was different back then because now all the information is so accessible. I mean, someone comes up with a bear and bolo sweep, and next week all the white belts around the world are doing it. Back then it was like I saw a video and there was a Kimura grip, and I've never seen it before, and it was so exciting, and like we were trying to grip the arm like that, and it was really interesting. Of course, development was super slow because we were only like 4 or 5 guys who just grappled, and there were a few other groups around the country who basically started around the same time, and then it kind of became a race, who could learn this secret jiu-jitsu thing first, and bought videos, started traveling. I went to the US a few times, and started just made some competitions and tried to compete against other people who had zero idea about grappling, and then the snowball just started rolling basically, and here I am, traveled around the world on jiu-jitsu, and it's my job and all I do now. So it's a very interesting journey.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it's a long story, of course, but it's that story is also a parallel in the book, parallel to the story about the trip last year. So
Well, good. Hopefully, people hear this is interested. Now they got to go get the book and get the whole shebang. Um,
yeah.
so I was gonna say. you touched on early days, and you were hooked from day one, like most of us are. But
Yeah.
what separated you from saying, "Hey, this is going to be my life," and not just a thing on the side to relieve some stress after my job or on the weekends?
Uh, I had a job and I hated it. Basically, I was a graphical designer and I was sitting in an office and I was kind of good at it and then I thought, well, then I guess this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. But it was horrible and jiu-jitsu was that in the beginning, just something to relieve the stress and kind of escape the horrible world I lived in, where I was just sitting in an office with guys in their 50s, programmers in a industrial area in a suburb to Copenhagen, and yeah, and then but I just couldn't let go of jiu-jitsu, and I don't think I have any particular talent for jiu-jitsu. I just have a talent of never losing interest. So it just grew, and the gym started growing, and people started coming in, and we made some more competitions, and eventually one day we we had the option of taking we were renting some hours in a judo club, and they closed down, and my business partner called me and said, hey, we can. I was at work and I was sitting there and just about to well, I just hated my life, and I didn't know where to go. I was a bit frustrated. I made a lot of money, but I didn't really know what to do. I was just sitting there 8 hours a day and doing nothing. And my business partner called me and said, "Well, everything fell in place. We can actually take over the rental contract and the mats and everything today." And I just hung up the phone and just got right off my chair and walked to the boss's office and quit on the spot. So then
Nice.
that's kind of when I knew that it would have to be that was probably the right thing to do. I mean,
Yeah,
I went from a pretty very good salary as a graphical designer to basically earning almost nothing, but never looked back. So
yeah, it was definitely worth it, correct?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right,
Not a
that's good
doubt,
because
not a
that
doubt
kind
in
of
my
scared
mind.
me. I don't want to hear a horrible, sad story where you shouldn't follow jujitsu. Um, you mentioned on about you learn a Kimura grip off of VHS tape.
Yeah.
Now, some of these people listening might not even know what a VHS tape is. Uh,
Yeah, it's all right. I mean,
yeah,
this was 7 years before YouTube
yeah, that's crazy.
launched. So
And you made a really good point about the you got beer and bolos from white belts all over the world. Now that you're a teacher, do you find this sometimes kind of hurts where the this kid maybe is going way beyond its talent level and missing the fundamentals?
no, well, I I think when I teach, I don't think like the internet can ever replace like personal attention from an instructor that honestly cares about teaching you something. I mean, it's just a one-way flow of information into your head from YouTube to your brain, and it's not necessarily making your jiu-jitsu much better. I mean, it can inspire you a little bit, but when I teach, it's just very, very simple stuff. I mean, I basically boil it down to keep your head up and your hip low and your back straight, and that's basically everything I teach. And then and then the rest is, if they find something online, they'll usually try it for 1 minute and fail miserably, and then maybe along the way they'll. But I think you need to get to a certain level before you can really get something out of it. I mean, purple brown belts can watch something online or watch a match, and they can really learn something for it. But I think beginners, they just need to. At least I advise all beginners in my gym to just stick to whatever I teach it in the intro class, and then just get good at that first before you even start to worry about flying, spinning omoplata.
Yeah, absolutely. One last thing before we let you go is who's some grapplers that kind of changed the way you look at the game, or maybe the way maybe you're a bottom guy and you like the way someone passed, so you started trying to be a top game person. Was there any couple grapplers that really stood out to you?
Yeah, not so much technically. I think it's more like their approach to competition and jiu-jitsu in general. I mean, obviously, I like those guys who just seem to enjoy jiu-jitsu immensely and not take it too serious. Like this actually the guy whose VHS tapes I bought the first time, Chris Howder, who's in LA. He's kind of an interesting dude, but he really I think he laid a foundation for how I look at jiu-jitsu. Him and like someone like Genki Sudo and Sakuraba and all these guys who just like they're entertainers and high level athletes. I think it's that's really that's someone I like to watch. And so I for me it's more I like those guys who are talented, hardworking, and still just can see the fun in it and don't take things too seriously, like Jeff Glover and guys like that.
Nice. I'm not gonna lie, those are great names
Yeah,
that you just dropped. Sakuraba was
yeah,
maybe one of my favorites to ever do it.
yeah.
So
He was
I'm glad.
awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
glad. I'm glad he's still getting some respect somewhere.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
love those guys.
All right. Last, absolute last one before we let you go.
No
What would you,
worries.
if you had to choose, uh, 2 to 3 places to go back to out of all the countries you visited? Where would they be?
Well, that's the question I've gotten most times on my trip and since I came home. What is your favorite place?
Yeah.
And I always give the same answer. My favorite place was the whole world. It's I don't think like dividing it into countries and borders and it doesn't make any sense. It just felt like one big place of happy jiu-jitsu people, and I wouldn't say one place was better than another. Actually, it was all the same, basically. Every single place I went had some fantastic people I met through jiu-jitsu, no exceptions. So I don't know where I'll go. I'll just do the same.
Nice.
I would do it again and again, basically.
Nice. Do you plan on ever doing another big trip? Actually,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
well, this time you got to hit up maybe Ottawa, Canada. Come
Yeah,
check this out.
I will do my best. I think I will have plenty of invitations, and it will take a lot of planning. But yeah, I mean, there's no way I'm just gonna sit here and spend the rest of my life in this apartment. So gotta keep moving.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks for having me.
well,
I'm really hungover, so I have nothing else to do. Just waiting like 12 hours to call you.
nice, nice, nice. Now you can go sleep off this hangover. Um, Last words you want to say there? Anything you can plug anything. This is your interview, so.
Well, no, it's just don't forget to brush your teeth and check out the if you don't want to buy the book, it's all right. You can see all the pictures from the trip on the blog. So
Nice. Yeah, they don't have to buy it, but they should buy it.
yeah, well, I think it's interesting. Obviously,
Yeah.
otherwise I wouldn't write it. But if they don't like it, I'll personally give them the money back. That's my guarantee.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very fair. But they
and
won't
send
show
them a
it.
key patch or something. I don't know. Yeah.
I like it.
All
All right.
right.
Thank you once again.
Thanks for having me.
We'll keep in touch.
For sure, man. Have a nice day.
You too.
All done.
Yes, sir.
Cool.